So, welcome to the Wheeler Detailers YouTube channel. My name is Martin, and in this video we're going to talk about the Decon detailing flowchart. Let's go. On the Carcare 24 EU website you find many brands, and you also find Decon. We scroll here, and in the top end of the Decon category we find a blue button which says Decon detailing flowchart. And if we open it, we see a stream from left to right where all the steps of detailing start and what steps you could potentially do to any vehicle and where you can end with. So let's just go step by step. We'll guide you a little bit and help you on what products and what methods of working are helpful for you in your detailing process. Better, more efficient, and can end with better results. Let's just start with the first step. Very important are cleaners or pre-cleaners. These are often acidic or alkalic based formulas that loosen and emulsify underlying dirt, sand, particles, tar, tree sap from painted surfaces or wheel arches, and once they're loosened from the surface you use a pressure washer or you use steam or maybe also dry ice to get rid of them off of the paint or out of the wheel arches, and with that pre-clean the surface. Very popular one of course is from Decon the FBI, the fly, bug and insect cleaner, or the Decon orange cleaner and degreaser concentrate. And this last one is a concentrate which you need to dilute up to 1 to 10 depending on need. So you can use Decon orange degreaser, dilute it depending on the strength you need in a dilution bottle. Make sure to dilute properly, so not just on the eye and do something, but really measure the amount of concentrate you're using. Then fill it up with lukewarm water, shake it, twist on the sprayer and spray it on the surface where you want to use it for. Often you need curing times between 30 and 60 seconds to loosen this underlying dirt and contamination, and after that you can rinse it off with a pressure washer or with steam or with anything else. Or you just leave it there and you snowfoam the car. Here we go to the next step with the Decon snowfoam concentrate. And when the car is snowfoamed, it helps to glide off all that with pre-cleaners loosened contamination off of the paint. You also see that very strongly on the lower parts of the car, or on the rear side of the car where the contamination often is a little bit more, that the foam that's gliding off of the car is completely beige or gray or even a different kind of dark color. And this is how much the combination of snow foam and pre-cleaner takes off of the car, which you don't have to agitate anymore with your wash mitt or sponge or anything else you want to use to wash the vehicle. That brings me to the next step, the Decon Mint Splash and Wash shampoo. So this is a mild pH 7 shampoo emulsion which you can use safely with a 2-bucket car wash. So one bucket is filled with shampoo emulsion and the other one is filled with clean water. I like to work with a mid-slide in every bucket I'm using, so one bucket with clean water rinsing and one bucket with shampoo emulsion washing. I'll take on with my wash mitt or my wash pad, I'll take on soapy suds from the washing bucket, I'll wash in one direction and then I'll scrub it clean over the mid-slide in the rinsing bucket. Once I'm scrubbing it clean, dust, particles, sand are loosening from the microfibers from my wash mitt or pad. They are funneled through the shapes in the mid-slide and getting under those funnels, and with that the top end of the water stays much cleaner for longer. After washing, we rinse off the car. I always like to use my snubby spray gun equipped with the mega nozzle. I always set it on the widest setting, that's 65 degrees, and for me that's powerful enough to rinse on all that loosened sand, particles, dirt, soapy suds which are still left on the car, and I'm only rinsing that away with this setting. And then I'll leave it wet. So I leave the surface wet, and then for the large parts I use a Decon clay towel or a clay mitt, depending on what you like most. And then I'll spray in the still wet surface, and then I'll wipe with my clay towel over this looped wet surface. Often when the car is very contaminated, you will hear all this contamination losing because it makes a certain sound when you glide with your clay towel over the looped and wet area. This means that the contamination is losing and is being grabbed by the synthetic clay on the clay towel. Then I would scrub my clay mitt clean over the mid slide in a rinsing bucket filled with clean water. By scrubbing the clay towel over the mid slide, I am loosening all that grabbed on contamination, and again it's being funneled through the shapes of the mid slide and getting under there in that more or less dirt part of the rinsing bucket. How do I know if the surface is clean and slick? I'll just glide with my fingertips. Maybe I have a thin plastic bag over my fingertips, just feeling on that wet surface, do I still have some contamination left? Once everything is smooth and clean, then all the contamination is gone and I'm ready for the next step. So then we're gonna move on the flowchart a little bit. And then we come to the area of polishing. Let's start with moderate paint. That means polishing away, removing swirls, light hairline scratches, holograms, and we could normally do that with one-step polishing. If we choose a good quality polish in combination with a good quality polishing pad, which fits on the paint. So, of course, first you're going to do a test spot on a small area, on the door, bonnet, wherever you like, and with that test spot you can determine, does my intended polish works in combination with the pad to remove the moderate type of paint defects and swirls. When it does, you're gonna repeat as you go after the test spot and make sure that all those hairline scratches, smells and stuff is gone. Personally, I really like the Marzena 2500 in combination with the green Decon Delta pads on, let's say, soft to moderate paints, and with the green Decon Delta pads on the harder type of paints, BMWs for example, Audis, those type of cars. Yeah, and then as you go with one-step polishing, you are done with removing all those paint defects, and then your moderate paint is also really tight and good condition, and we can also move on to the next step. So let's go to the top end. If we talk about bad paint, what are we talking about? Often deep scratches, or a lot of deep scratches that we can actually feel with the tip of our nails. If we would glide with our nails over the paint, our nails pretty much would hang in those scratches. So how deep could it be? Well, from bottom to top we have the panel, then we have the primer, then we have the colorant, and then we have the clear coat. And lots of paints are, let's say, between 100, 120, 130 microns. Some paints are a little bit thicker, over 150, 160 microns, and some paints are a little bit thinner, sometimes also 70, 80 or 90 microns. So the thinner the three layers together are, the more difficult and more risky it is to remove these deep scratches. And the thicker the paints are, the more paint you have more or less to work with, and which you can focus really on polishing out all those deeper scratches, and afterwards you can also do the swirl removal and even also the fine polishing. In case of a lot of deep scratches that you can feel with the tips of your nails, we often would need, let's say, a hard pad. It can be a green Decon Delta pad or a gray Decon Delta pad, and or even wool pads or microfiber pads. These work a little bit different, they create a little bit more heat, and because of the heat, the grit in the strong polish or compound can work in, I wouldn't say better, but more efficient and more faster. And with this, the paint correction of removing deeper scratches, which are still in the clear coat or in the colorant layer, will remove a little bit, let's say, better. And faster is not the right word, because good paint correction will never go fast, but as good as you go. After that, I can choose if I want to do a final step of polishing with, for example, a Marzena 3500 or a Kochemi microcut, for example. And after that, then we're gonna go on to the next step, which is prepping for protection. So there's often a little bit of discussion between, let's say, water-based products or oil-based products. Water-based products, for example, 3M or the Marzenas, they content a little bit lower on raw material called glycerine, and with that they fill or they will mask less or not at all. So you can often, after your work, you would wipe off with a prep material or with IPA 1-3 diluted. Check your results instead of did I really mask or did I really fill in this step. And then when wiping it with IPA, then you can really see the true result. The more water-based you go, the better that true result will be. So this is the polishing part. Now we're gonna move on to the right a little bit more. We would really fancy to clean the car again. You can drive it into the wash bay, give it a proper hand car wash again, rinse it off and dry it with your drying towel and some compressed air. You could do that, or you just leave it on the lift and you will clean it with a waterless wash product, because the car is not that dirty anymore. It's often only some dust, fingerprints, polishing dust that's on the paint. And you could perfectly do that with, for example, Decon's Orange Eco waterless car wash. This is a concentrate which you can dilute 1 to 15. Just spray it on the paint or wherever you want to use it. Let it cure for 30 to 60 seconds and wipe it in one direction with a long piled towel. Then again, you wait 30 to 60 seconds and then the product starts to haze, so the polymers in the products start to work. Then you would buff it to high shine with a short microfiber towel. Then once the polished surface is completely clean, then we would prep it. And we could actually prep it with alcohol-based products, and we've got 3 of those. It can be a glass cleaner. It's not very logical, but you could. It can be Decon CIA, or my choice would be using the Decon IPA. I'm using this often 1 to 3 diluted with demi-water. I'm spraying it into my towel, and from the towel I just glide it completely over the car, and I feel with my fingerprints. Is it very rough? Is it stubborn? Do I hear a squeaky noise when I glide over the paint with my fingertips? Because the squeakier it gets, the better it is for your layer of protection to adhere to the paint. Protection. So we can talk about certain, let's say, nano diamond coatings in this case from Diamond Protect. We can also talk about ceramic coatings from, for example, Kochemi. We can also talk about some wax like Decon's Vanilla Cream Wax. We can also talk about some paint sealants like the Power Lock from Encena. These are all protectants that need a good, clean and degreased surface, and this is why prepping it with your 1 to 3 diluted with demi-water IPA is very, very, very important. If you've worked with strong polishes which contain a lot of glycerine, so petroleum, then often one-time wiping with 1/3 of IPA diluted is not enough. You probably have to use a stronger concentrate, maybe 1-on-1, or maybe even wipe it down more than once, so maybe 2 or 3 times before that really squeaky result from gliding it with your fingers on the paint is the result. So applying a coating on your car, I'm gonna hook in a card how to apply a ceramic coating, because these are a lot of steps to do this correctly. Wax, so it's a little bit more easy. You can apply it by hand or machine. Let it cure for 6 minutes and wipe it off with a short microfiber towel. It shines very bright, really makes metallics pop very nice in dark colors. The only downside is that often after 6 to 8 washing cycles, the durability is often gone. Then we have some other special products. We also have some, polymer products for wheels, the Decon Rimwax V2, and then we have some quick detailers. So, depending on what we have finished with, was it a ceramic product, was it a wax-based product, was it a polymer-based product, then we also choose a quick detailer that fits with that finished layer of shine and protection. So if I would have finished, for example, with a nano diamond coating or with a ceramic coating, then I would also choose a quick detailer that has ingredients that's also in that coating. In this case, that may be siloxane, which you can find in the Decon Pro Ceramic Quick Detailer. After a number of washes, it can be that also an installed glass coating, ceramic coating, quartz coating may perform less on hydrophobity due to more than one reason. Cars have been washed or been pre-washed with strong alkalic cleaners. After the washing cycle has been done, the car has not been rinsed off 100% properly or not have been dried 100% properly, and then out of the door handles, out of the grills, out of the mirror caps, rests of soapy water come together with rests of alkalic cleaners, and they more or less dry on the car. So with that you create, let's say, some water spotting on the car, and this water spotting feels also a little bit rough after washing. So with a normal pH 7 wash, let's say the Decon Mint shampoo, you will not wash this away. And the rougher the surface is, the less the water can glide off freely, and this is what actually blocks on the paint, and with this blocking the hydrophobity or the water repellency performance will be less than after it's just installed. Is this a big disaster? No, it's not. Especially for this, we created Decon Ceramic Wash, which is a light acid-based shampoo emulsion, and it also contains siloxane, but let's say the light acid base is there to safely wash away all these dried on alkalic rests of your ceramic coating, and at the same time installing a fresh layer of siloxane that reacts with your existing layer of coating, and with that refunctions. And this Decon Ceramic Wash cleans the paint and also adds some extra siloxane ingredients to the existing layer of ceramic or quartz protection. And with that, water can run off freely again. The beading is completely like it was new, and it works just wonders. Completely streak free, perfectly to use. If instead of a ceramic product you chose a polymer protection, then we would also like to have a polymer based quick detail spray for some maintenance that you want to do. That means wiping away some fingerprints, just give it some extra slickness if you want to after a couple of washes. So also in Decon's Mango Yellow Quick Detailer you will find polymers as raw materials. They react with polymers, Teflon, and for example Manzano's a polymer lock or other paint sealants, and with that you can really work on that longevity of that chosen polymer layer or layers of protection. We're almost at the end. So instead of having the ceramic wash in a shampoo emulsion, we more or less have it also in a spray form, and then it's called Decon Lightning Wet Coat. How does this work? After washing and rinsing, you leave the car wet, you spray this on part for part, and then you spray it, and then you rinse it off immediately with your pressure washer. And you will also see the immediate effect and the immediate performance of crazy beading and hydrophobicity shots from your paint. Make sure on a warm day not to spray in the whole car and then start rinsing. Really work part for part or two parts for two parts. So I hope this helps to guide you on choosing the right steps, also in the right order, to make your detailing process more professional, better, more efficient, maybe also faster, and maybe understand just better what are we actually doing in every step. So if you like this kind of content, if you have some questions, let me know. Just write it here below. You can also send us WhatsApp messages via the Carcare24 EU website, or just shoot an email. So this is a little bit different video than normally we do. From next time it's back to the action again. And hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And looking forward to seeing you guys and girls in the next one. Bye bye.